Hello. Oops.
Oh, wow. What a fun season we're
Exactly. Clarity.
having.
Okay. It's not that big of a deal. It's okay.
No, but like it's not a big deal. I'd be having a much better time if Mohammed was still here. And namely, if Emma was not still here. Um, so many things since our last video. I mean, you heard us say it in the video where we in the draft video we were like, where your pick doesn't mean anything because we really don't know. And let the record show that Steven's first pick is the first boot. And let it be shown that the last overall pick is Mothering the Social Game.
I also would like to just drop this in here for um
Yeah, for a moment.
um
I'm feeling great about my team, but
I'm
you
feeling
definitely still have some sleeper
I'm
picks.
feeling less great about my
Yeah.
team. Um I was feeling very confident coming out of the draft, and I'm feeling less confident now. So that's kind of upsetting. But
I think you still have some great people in there though, so it's certainly
yeah,
far from over, and it only takes one person.
true.
Uh, so yeah, there's that. Mohammed definitely was one of the earlier picks in the draft. And wow, out of here early. Should have been the easiest task to stay.
Oh, we don't have the memory wall in here. Oh well.
Oh, I mean, I can just super easily do that. Um, yeah, Muhammad has been evicted in a rather unfortunate way. I mean, like it's simultaneously entirely his fault, but also like, do people not know how to have fun?
Nobody likes to have fun these days.
Nobody likes to have fun these days. Ugh. Um, I mean, honestly, like what even else is there to say? I mean, let's just Bryce won HOH, put up Muhammad because Muhammad was being a little like shifty, awkward, whatever you want to say. And like definitely was being a little like awkward about like how he was navigating the game. But to be clear, it really wasn't even like chaotic or messy. It really just was like awkward of like he didn't know how to super phrase or like socially go about what he was trying to say, I think, well. Um, and then he gets put up and he like sends like a speech in the house chat, and everyone was like, "Whoa, chaos!" And I'm like, "Dear BBSS 19 house guests, if you think that Mohammed just caused like a lot of chaos, you clearly have not watched a single season of BBSS. This was the tamest nothing burger of a speech that was like, wow, like I said I was gonna want
Huh.
an alliance. I did, and now I'm gonna nominate the HOH that put me up." And everyone was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
But I
You
also
can't
understand
say.
too, because it's like the first week. There have been no waves yet.
Oh no, to be clear, I think Mohammed greatly mishandled the situation. Um, but I think everyone else is also blowing it way out of proportion, just how chaotic of a player Mohammed is. Like this was so tame.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, then Emma literally didn't say anything since the third hour
Before
of the
the
game.
first HOH competition.
And is nowhere to be found, is not answering people in the game, isn't answering us, isn't nothing. And the fact that she is still here really makes me mad, especially when Muhammad wanted to be here so badly. And I think everyone else being like Muhammad is like such a big person that we need to take out right now is like absolutely ridiculous because at the end of the day, Muhammad had like no allies, really wasn't gonna like be able to do much of anything and like did want to be here. So at the very least, like would have made the game more fun. I digress. There's a lot of gameplay to get into this week. Um, and yeah, I think we can just like dive in. Steven, do you have anything to say like overarchingly about the week?
No, we'll get into it when we talk about the people. Starting with Adrian. Um, I think it's helpful for these people to talk a little bit about who they are most connected to.
Yeah.
What have you seen with Adrian?
So starting the week on days 1 and 2, Adrian was definitely one of the people that I would say is most on the outs. His name was voted out to be a potential nominee this week. And definitely wasn't connected to much of anybody, I'd say. As the days have moved forward, day 3, day 4, and there have been some chats of other alliances maybe forming, his name has been tossed around as someone to possibly be included in said things. I would say that he is most aligned with Rachel and like Andrew and like Jen, kind of in this middle group that has yet to really fully realize itself, but is actually a great collection of people that really are not in the other power lines that are made right now, which does really excite me. Um, so that could be good moving forward for him. The key things to say are like one, it hasn't happened yet. And there's been a lot of groups that are like tossed around and then like don't solidify. So like I would need it to like really solidify for him. And two, he, in my opinion, was so easily convinced this week to vote out someone that really he had no business voting out. He just went along with numbers because other people told him to, even though he was kind of tossing around the idea of like, oh, like, yeah, I could be convinced, and then was convinced in the other way for like no reason because these people don't have his back that were convincing him to do this thing. Um, that's kind of where I see his position in the game right now. Um, by the end of this week for Adrian, was considering going up to a 5. Or I mean, there's no scores to go down or up from. As we approach the end of the week, I was considering giving him the 5. However, I ultimately think that I will be landing at a 4 for Adrian from me this week. I do think that he is just not in the in as much as some of these other house guests were. I think that he didn't, no shade to Adrian, like think so much for himself at all. It was very much like, oh, like, well, like, what is the group going to do? I've heard a lot of Muhammad, so like, let's just do that. Um, and he was a potential nominee this week. Um, I hope for him that this group between, and again, like, it's not even a specific group, but it's just like names that are floating around of like, oh, like, we all like each other. And it's like him, Andrew, Rachel, Jen, Kayla, Ryan is kind of like what's floating out there. Um, So if it comes together, maybe I'll feel better. But for me, this is unfortunately, I hate to use this word, but this is kind of like a flops get fours. And he kind of just like flopped a little bit for me this week. So we'll see where he goes from here.
think I'm going to start out with a 5 for Adrian. I think that I really appreciate how much he's working to get in with the social game. I think he's having conversations with people and putting in the work, which I think as long as you're not like negatively being talked about, that's enough for me week 1 to warrant a 5. I think his name's on the short list for nomination. Ultimately, it didn't it he wasn't nominated even with 3 nominees. And I do think people are like still looking to like chat with him and build something potentially as the game kind of evolves a little bit. So I'm definitely okay giving Adrian a 5 this week. And excited to see how it goes.
Hooray. So Adrian has our first score of the season of a 4.5. Not the worst spot to be in. Um, there will certainly be people lower than him, but there will certainly be people higher, as this is a very middling score. So yeah,
Great insights.
thank you. Um,
Andrew,
Andrew,
our
I
first battle pass holder.
first battle pass holder. I really like Andrew a lot. I think he's doing a lot of good in this game. Um, I think he is being very social, and a lot of people talk about how much they like Andrew. For those reasons, I will not be in a red score, which is great for him. With that said, there are a couple of things to notice for me. One, pretty early on, for some reason, people, or I know the reason, we can't do the reason. People are starting to tie him to Vince, which is impeding his ability to get in socially a little bit. In the early days of the game, Bryce and Vince kind of clicked, and then due to multiple people being like, "Hey, Bryce, we think Vince is sketchy," Vince has been like, we could bring in Andrew to our group, Bryce. And Bryce kind of shared that like Vince is thinking that they can bring in Andrew, and therefore Bryce has been like, so don't bring in Andrew because Andrew means Vince. And that really is not the case in my opinion. Andrew is like, I would not list Vince as someone that I am listing off Andrew's close allies. Andrew is someone that right now I see as being just like a good solid number for a lot of people. Like he just has, in my opinion, like one of the people that has like the most amount of options moving forward. He's been very social with like all sides of the house, which is great. The kind of drawback that comes with that is I think he did end up misplaying the battle pass this week. Not with what he did. I think using it on Trista was a great move. But I think that he should have leveraged like any bit of power in this game that you get, in my opinion, is less so about like the actual decision that you make and is more so about how you leverage it to build allies. And no shade to Andrew, but like saving Trista, like, ooh, like that's not gonna really do him a ton of things. But if he told people, was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, as an ally of mine, like I found this battle pass. What do you think I should do with it? Like that just like builds a little bit of rapport. And instead, we've now left this week, and immediately people are like, oh, like Andrew didn't tell me that he had it. I figured we were close enough that like he would have. That's a little weird. And I think people are a little more like reserved now. So for all of those reasons, um, in addition to the fact that he was convinced to evict Muhammad when he also, I really think, had no business doing so, I will be landing at a 5 for Andrew. I think his social games warrants a pretty positive score. However, there were a few missteps, in my opinion, that is leaving him like kind of on this eggshell territory of like, I don't know quite what's going to happen with him, but he's doing well. So it's going to be a 5 from me.
Yeah, I also am going to be at a 5 as well. Um, I honestly was thinking of being higher on Andrew. I think the main thing for me this week was the use of the battle pass. I think there was no reason to not come out and say that he had it if it was the pretty obvious choice that he was going to use it on Trista. Even like even like telling Trista he found it yesterday. Like he waited until today to tell her. It's like that's like I don't know why kind of thing. Um, so I feel like he could have. If it were me, I would have just been like in the house chat. I would have been like, "Hey guys, I found the battle pass. Like, just want to let you guys know that like it was out there and I got it, and you're gonna know eventually. Like, well, it just looks like shady when you have to announce it that you've like been hiding it for 2 days, and it's like, well, why? So I hope other people kind of catch on to that. Um, but I do like the way he's talking around, and people seem to like him. I think the detachment from Vince will start a little bit more, but definitely good with giving Andrew a 5 for the first week.
Um, yeah,
And moving
indeed.
on to Bryce,
Moving on to
our
Bryce, our
first HOH.
OH. Yeah. On the whole, I am pretty impressed, pretty impressed with Bryce's game this week. He did like the tried and true fantastic first HOH move. You have the power, nominate 3 people that you don't plan on being good with, and try and be good with everybody else. I think most people, especially in on days 1 through 3 of his HOH, were feeling really good about him. He also really solidified a solid alliance for himself between Justin, Kellen, Zoe, Ryan, and himself. Um, I think for the short term, that is a really great group, and I think Justin is a really good ally for him. Um, the fact that he haphazardly slash like Kellen formed it this way made a alliance where he is like, in my opinion, on the outer ring of that. Like the core of that really is the Boston Three. Um, I'm going to be calling them the Boston Three. I know that Zoe's not from Boston, but I'm leaving her in.
Oh, I was confused. I thought you were talking about Vince.
No, that's irrelevant. Um,
Well, they have a Boston Alliance.
I know, but that's not the Boston Alliance.
Well, it could be confusing.
Um, the Boston Three being Kellen, Zoe, and Ryan.
with Zoe famously from Chicago.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think it is a good group for him for now. He has Vince and Andrew on the side that he can try and loop in further. Um, I'm not mad at his nominations this week. They did make sense, and Muhammad going home is something that did benefit Bryce specifically. Um, I will be giving Bryce a 6 this week. I do think that he's just like positioned himself pretty well. With that said, I feel really no reason to go any higher than a 6. And that's because I think leaving this week, um, while people do feel good about Bryce, I think there is, especially as the week crept on, and it was like Emma very clearly like wasn't there at all, and Mohammed very clearly like wanted to be there. And Bryce was very vocal about like, well, Muhammad has to go and was like pushing for it. And then it happened, but not everyone like really wanted it to
Yeah,
happen.
it was a little bit of a weird energy.
And like honestly, like the energy right now feels like the house is kind of like we didn't want to do this, but Bryce wanted it to happen,
Yeah,
so we did it. And I'll be curious to see how that energy continues to shift for him. I'm not about to say that I think that he should have said like Muhammad can stay around. I fully realize why Muhammad leaving for him is good because Muhammad is was still coming after Bryce. But also at the end of the day, I think maybe being a little more hands off maybe would have done him a little more favors here. I just think that people view him as a shark in this game now. And
yeah.
it's kind of like abundantly clear. Do I worry for him in the short term? No. But like as this game goes on, the only person that I see right now ride and dying for Bryce is Justin. I think everyone else would be willing to see him go at some point. You know what I mean? So it's a solid 6 for me, and I will be very curious to see how future weeks pan out for Bryce.
I do agree. I don't necessarily agree with the the fact that people view him as a shark because of the way he handled the Muhammad situation. I think that kind of just came with the week and the way he was forming bonds
Yeah.
and alliances. I will say one of the things I was going to commend Bryce on was in a lot of situations the way he handled wanting Muhammad to go. I feel like a lot of people came to him and were like, hey, like Emma hasn't been here at all. I'm like thinking about evicting her instead of Muhammad. And he was like, yeah, you know what? Like, totally okay. Like, if it's, I'm the HOH this week, but like you're voting and whatever's best for you, like, I understand. Like, I'm not going to hold it against you. Um, I think there were like a couple of instances where he said that, which I think is very good.
Mhm.
Um, because in like honesty, he could go back on that and hold it against them, but he now has like that protection of being like, okay, well, if I am Helene, for example, or no, more if I'm Isaiah and
Yeah.
I win HOH, I don't feel the need to target Bryce now because I think he's after me because I went against what he wanted, which I think is good. I do agree though that he's building up his threat level here, and that could be worrisome. But I think it was overall a fine first week for a first HOH, so I'm going to go with a 6 as well.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll commend Bryce for is I do think he did really listen to allies well in terms of like when he was looking to like form this group and this structure, he was not. I've seen some people in the past be like, it's going to be you, and you, and that's the group. And this was very much like he was talking around, maybe a little messily so, of like Jen was in the mix to be in the group, Vince was in the mix. Like the original group was like Justin, Vince, Jen, Andrew, and Kellen. And like enough people came to him and were like, I'm a little sketched out by Vince. And Bryce, who was like really riding for Vince in the beginning, was like, okay, heard. People don't want Vince. We don't have to have Vince then. And I'll keep that on the side. And like things like that. So I think he has adapted well. Um, yeah, I'll be curious to see how the game unfolds for Bryce in the coming weeks.
Okay, let's move on to Emma.
Emma, I have
I,
about as much to say about Emma as I do as Emma said in this game. Unfortunately, like she literally hasn't said a word. This is like we've had people in the past that have like been like pretty inactive. Like I think of Julian and Julia Key from season 17. I think of Emma Garcia from 12. Like there have been people to like disappear, but they've like sent a message literally here or there, or have like responded to us being like, sorry, I'm just like super busy. Emma has literally like in record time reached Rocky Roby season 10 levels of like, where are you? What happened? Out of nowhere, dropped off the face of the planet and like refuses to respond to us. So I have no like, listen, I understand people get busy, things happen. I am fully willing to get a text that says like, hey, all like this is a lot more than I anticipated. I like to go home and be like, great, just like tell people that like you'd like to go home and that happens. I hold no malice to people like Julian that like asked to leave after they realize like maybe not a great time. The ghosting when we've put work into this, absolutely not. It's a one from me, and I hope you go home next week, Emma. So sorry.
There is
But
a
I'm sure you're
tiny,
a lovely person.
yeah, retweet to all of that. There is a little tiny part of me that's hoping like she'll come back tomorrow and be like, sorry, I was like celebrating Easter. I'm like very Orthodox Catholic, like no phones Easter time. Like my phone got thrown in a garbage disposal. Like I just like I'm so sorry. I'm just like a sliver of me that's holding on to the fact that when she goes back to school tomorrow, that she will come alive. Which like at this point, it's like it could be a little too little too late for me and for everybody else. But I really do hope that she just goes home this week. I do feel very bad for Mohammed, who very much wanted to be here.
Wanted to be here.
So I'm gonna give her a one as well. There's no reason to entertain anything higher. Helene.
Helene. Obsessed with this diva. I love Helene. Um, I unfortunately don't have a like I have great things to say about Helene personally. She seems awesome. In the game though, unfortunately, I think that a couple of things are going against her. One, her name is not coming up as someone that people are like, we want to work with Helene. And being like in the names of like groups that are being formed. Two, I think, especially in the final hours here, as word started to spread of like, oh, is there like a flip where like people are trying to keep Mohammed? I think people are like blaming Helene for that. Um, and I don't know necessarily like who is like looking out for Helene, you know? Um, so with that said, one thing that I am going to award Helene for in the scores here is the fact that being a player that has never done something like this before, to come in and be like, no, this is what I think the right move is, and to like push for that move and stand down on it, even though I think she realized the numbers weren't there. That is a quality of a good player, in my opinion. And that's the only way. Like, I have more faith that Helene is someone that could win this game than someone who, say, is maybe like in a better position on paper, but is like not making moves and isn't willing to do so because they're scared. So to that, I give her kudos. Are you frozen?
No, sorry.
Oh no. Um, So to that, I give her kudos. Position wise and honestly reception to her this week, I could go as low as a three if I really felt like I needed to. But for standing 10 toes down on the move, and I'm hoping that she can create some more interest for herself, I'm going to give her a four, but I don't feel as though I can go higher than that. So it'll be a four from me for Helene.
Me too. I think people think she was being sneaky during the eviction. I think she just didn't realize who was lying to her, but I am very proud that she stuck down to what she wanted to do. Um, I'm gonna give her four as well. And I love her. And I hope that she continues very far in this game.
Yes.
Isaiah.
Isaiah. I forget. I'm pausing because like I'm thinking like we have the graph to do. There's no
Yeah,
graph.
okay.
I like usually like wait for you to be like, okay, and next. Yeah, but Isaiah. I am very excited by Isaiah for a number of reasons. And I'm also like, uh-oh, for like a number of reasons. Um, Reasons I'm excited by Isaiah. I do think he has good game sense, and I think he's here and he wants to have fun. And like for me, like things that I love to see is like he's already set in diagrams and he's like, yes, I know Rachel and Justin, but coming in and forming a trio with them just because I know them, boring. That's not what I'm here for. I want to meet new people and like sure I can still work with them, but like I'm not here to just like do that. I love to see that. That's always fun. Two, he really was one of the most vocal people to be like, y'all, we're keeping Emma, like we're here to play a game for no money, and we're gonna keep Emma. How much fun is that? To quote that video of Brittany Haynes giving
It
an
was
interview during
0%.
BB22, the interviewer asked, how much fun was that to watch? She looks at the camera and goes, it was 0% fun. And that's how Isaiah is giving me in this game. Isaiah is here for fun, and I appreciate that. Um, I think that people do like him. However, I do think that people also did like notice how like vocal he was in terms of like we should keep Mohammed. Um, I don't think people fault him for it, and I don't think people see him as someone that was like trying to like push to like whip up a vote flip. But I do think he has unfortunately ostracized himself a little bit because of that. He's another name that is not constantly coming up as someone that like should be in these alliances. Um, However, his name has also not come up once as someone that should be nominated, targeted, put up moving forward. Um, Kind of like Colleen, I'm willing to give him a little bit of a bump for just like standing down on like wanting Emma out this week, which like honestly, like call it a personal bias. Absolutely. I'm willing to admit that. But he's
They
someone that
are
like,
rankings.
yeah, exactly. They are our rankings. And it is gameplay based, but you know, I can give a little, I can grade on a curve if I would like to, and that's what I'm doing. I think I could make the argument to give Isaiah a 4 this week, especially with how much he was pushing for Mohammed to stay, and then he didn't, and he's a little bit on the outs. But I think he's been doing well enough socially and has enough protection from a few key pre-existing relationships that I'm willing to give Isaiah a 5 this week. So I'll be giving Isaiah a 5.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go to a 5 as well. I think the differences between him and Helene are that he kind of was steadfast the whole week that he was keeping Muhammad.
Yeah.
It was pretty much the whole week. He never wavered once. He isn't caught in this like weird six votes to keep Muhammad lie that Helene kind of instigated a little bit. Um, and he is coming up with some more, a little bit more of a cushion. So I'm willing to be at a 5 for now. I think that's good, and I do like Isaiah. Okay, Jen.
Moving on to Jen. Yes. I I am such a Jen fan. Such a Jen fan. She is killing this game, especially from the social perspective. Is definitely like her and Kayla, honestly, like one of my favorite duos to be watching this season in terms of like them figuring out this new space together. And I think they're honestly doing a pretty good job. Um, I think based off of day 1 and 2, I would have been coming in here being like green scores for Jen, super high scores for Jen. She's killing it. And her name still is in the mix as someone that everyone likes and like should be included in the groups. The thing is like it hasn't happened yet. It's been like a few groups have formed that like then don't include Jen, but everyone's like, but we love Jen. It's like, yeah, but she's not in the group. So that's not great. That in addition to the fact that she is unfortunately one of the people that I will dock most for this week. There was a clear path to Muhammad staying, and Jen and Caleb both were the key like pins in that plan. And they literally like in talking with each other were like not only were they like we can't be on the wrong side of the vote this week, which like I understand in concept, but I think is overall the wrong strategy of Big Brother. The vote is secret and you don't want to be losing an ally ever in the game of Big Brother. Um they had no reason not to keep Muhammad. Especially when they're like talking about this theoretical majority that exists, and they're like, okay, let's say what we know. a lot of people seem to want to keep Mohammed, but let's count out the people that want to evict him. Justin, Zoe, Kellen, Ryan, Vince, and then we're 6 and 7. So that's the majority. It's like, okay, but if you don't count yourselves, there's not a majority. So let's think there. Like you make the, and if you go the other way, then the other side is the majority, Jen and Kayla. And that's what like Kayla's like literally like that was an actual conversation that came out of their mouths today. And I was like, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Um, so unfortunately, just as I'm like grading on a curve for Helene and Isaiah, maybe boosting a score a bit, like I do think that that was enough of a fumble for me this week to lower my score a little bit. And while socially and positionally, I think Jen is doing 5, I could warrant giving Jen a 6 for kind of that gameplay bumble. And I think like falling into the trap of just like wanting to be safe and in the majority. Muhammad is someone that I think really would have looked out for her, and that's not great to lose someone like that, especially when you have an actual majority alliance that Muhammad, granted, not at the time, but is now right about existing. Um, it's not great. So I will be giving Jen a 5 this week with hopes of it going up, and I think she has the ability to raise it for sure. But it's going to be a 5 for me for now.
Um, yeah, I mean that was kind of unfortunate. I do like part of me gets it a little bit. It's like your first time here, the first vote. You don't want to be the ones that look like you're causing a majority vote to topple to the other side. Um, Especially if you're not like really 100% sure that you want the flip to happen. I think they weren't really sure if they wanted to keep Muhammad as an ally. Um, I really like what Jen is putting in. I'm gonna go for a 6 on Jen this week. Um, I think this was a little bit of a classic. I'm new to this, and I'm really worried what people will say if I vote against them, which I'm willing to give her a little bit of like benefit of the doubt. Like, didn't really know what to expect in the first eviction. It was close. I didn't know if I wanted to keep Muhammad. Totally good. I think I'm going to go with the 6 this week. I think she's in a good spot, and I'm rooting for Jen. Justin,
Moving on to Justin. Also, Stephen, as I talk about Justin, just check your phone. I just sent you a text about conflicts. Um,
great.
Talking about Justin. Um, I said in the draft that like I didn't really know what to expect from Justin in terms of gameplay style or like quality because I'd seen him gone out like kind of early in some other games. I am eating all of those words right now. I think Justin is one of the people that I'm eyeing most as someone who really has the potential to do really well in this game. I think he has set himself up beautifully between his duo with Bryce, which I think is awesome. He's got Rachel and Isaiah looking out for him, kind of as just like a baseline thing that exists. Um, he's formed really good relationships with the Boston trio, which to be clear is Kellen, Ryan, and Zoe. Um, and that like it's all like that's all great. I do think he also is someone that like in the strategic conversations, especially with people like Rachel and Isaiah that were more leaning towards voting out Emma over Muhammad, he was talking to them like, yeah, I totally get it. Like I totally agree. Like strategically it makes a lot more sense to keep Muhammad here. Oh, the only thing is though, like, do you take that shot now? And like he wasn't like pushing for it, but was like making it clear that there are reasons and that that's where other people are at. Maybe not him, but other people, even though it really is him. Overall, just like impressed. I have no major reason to be all the way up at a 7 for him. Because like for me, a 7 in week one, you've like really, really, really just got to be like with everyone, and I think everyone loves you. And I think there are a few people that are like also have been like, oh, like Justin's good at this. Justin's gonna be good at the game. I don't think people have said as much about him as they have Bryce, but they're still saying it. Um, and I think he set up a little bit better. All to say, high score for me from for Justin, and I'll be giving Justin a 6 this week, a very solid score for week number 1.
Me too. I'm going to go for a 6 as well. I think the same sentiment. Really, I think he has set himself up well going into week 2. and I think people generally like him. He's a little bit more under the radar than Bryce is. Um, but I do think he hasn't like solidified that spot yet as like the person in the house, which is fine for right now. But I think it's the sixth level for right now. Kayla.
Kayla. I'm gonna sit up for this. I'm gonna sit up for this. Kayla.
My
I'm
God,
sitting.
I messed up so bad. Can we read? We should redo the draft. We should do the draft after the first week. I think that would make so much more sense.
Kayla, this is my formalized apology to you and all of your fans and supporters out there. As your friend, I was wrong to not have more faith in you because you are absolutely killing it. And I'm so I don't know why I didn't. Maybe it's because like you and I haven't talked a ton about like you playing. So I was just like, oh, like does she like really want to play? The answer is yes. And she's putting an effort and she is like killing it and is like definitely like nervous flying by the seat of her pants here for the vibes, which is what she said coming in, but it's like here for the vibes of like wanting to do well, not just like here and like whatever, kind of like Trista, which we'll get to. Um, the I'm just like I'm thrilled for her. She is social, she's well liked. All of that's great. I do think that people have talked more about liking Jen in terms of like bringing them into groups. But Kayla's name is not far below where Jen's has been in terms of people like bringing it up in terms of like, oh, I like Kayla. I talk with Kayla. That's awesome. Um, the biggest drawbacks for Kayla for me are the fact that she is not in one of these groups, and I think she's not. If I had to like pick people that are going to be like in this next group that form, I don't know if Kayla will automatically be there without Jen's help. Granted, she will have Jen's help, so that's awesome. Um, as one thing. And two, again, like just the same strategic thing of Jen of like they could have saved Muhammad here and that would have set them up in a really great position, in my opinion. Um, and it just didn't happen, even though it really could have and should have. So for that reason, I'm gonna be at the same score for Kayla as I am Jen, which is a 5, which is just like solidly middle of the road. I don't have really anything majorly negative to say about Kayla, but I can't put her at that green score because I do think she is a tier below that. So a 5.
I think I'm gonna go for a 5, which sounds a little weird to be at a different score for Jen and Kayla. I do think, for just from what I've seen, and this could be wrong, but just from what I've seen, I feel like Jen has had more like substantial conversations with people,
I know I agree with this fully. Yeah.
and for some reason in my head, I blame Jen and Kayla's flip on Kayla. Um, and I don't know if that's justified, but
I don't think that is, but
I'm gonna go for a 5. But I'm very glad Kayla's here, and I honestly am very sad not to have her on my team.
woo!
So 5 for Kayla. Okay, Kellen.
I I knew it. 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 This Kellen is my girl. That's my diva. That's my icon. I want like I'm calling it now for me right now in week 1, and I hope that week 12 or 13 Scott can see this and is happy looking back upon this. I want Kellen to win the season of Big Brother SS. Is she doing anything that's that spectacular? No, no, she's not. There's nothing that I'm like, wow, she is like the next coming of like a legend in this game. However, here's the thing that I love about Kellen. One, the effort, really trying. Two, has, in my opinion, such a phenomenal natural sense of the game. I don't think she would agree with that statement. I think she's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's because I think there's like literal like rules of the game that she's still like figuring out, and that's all great and grand. Um, but when it comes down to the baseline reading people on a social level, she has been out of this world, in my opinion, in terms of being like I get sketch vibes from Vince. Oh, I really trust Bryce, but he's a shark and I'm sure he's doing other stuff. Oh, like I don't see why we're really evicting Muhammad here. Like all of those things I think make up a great player. Um and Kellen is giving me all of it. Literally even to the extent of like she was like, okay, like after day one, she was like, I had a big day today. I'm in this alliance with Bryce and Justin. They seem like the kind of people that are going to want to steer this. So I'm going to let them steer it because I like the direction that they're going in. And I'm just going to sit back and make myself look like not as much of a threat. But I think as soon as Kellen like doesn't like what's going on, she's stepping up and doing something about it. And that's what I love to see. It's what I love to see. Um, the only thing that I'm like, fuck, is Zoe decided to run her mouth that her and Kellen know each other. Zoe, not very nice of you. You needed to get on the same page because I think Kellen has been very tight-lipped about who she knows. And let's say that hadn't got like leaked out, Kellen was able to form the majority of alliance with the two biggest power players in this game to set herself up in a majority, and they would have had no idea. Like that would have been insane. For that reason, I would have come in here and given her a seven easily, easily a seven for week one. Honestly, as I'm sitting here, like saying my thoughts, I'm not convinced that I'm not going to give her a seven. Um, but I am like, is a six warranted because she got clocked a little bit there? And I honestly think that for everybody in the house, she's not as social as I think she's being. Like, I think everyone does like her, but I think she's been like really social and locked in with her side of the house. And I think there are definitely a few key people in here that are like, yeah, I haven't really talked to Kellen. Um, so as much as I like really want to give her a seven, I'm gonna be like hesitant for 1 week. I'm not gonna jump the gun here. There was a lot of great stuff, and she's definitely like the six is for me higher than that of Bryce and Justin. But I think I have to give her a six, and I can't give her a seven. So I think it's gonna be a six for me. But she's right there.
I am thinking. I think the Zoe exposure, I was worried about it when it happened, but it hasn't had much of an effect. I think I'm gonna give her a seven. I feel like
Yes.
it's your score.
I'm just happy for her that she got a seven, even though I didn't give it to her.
I think she's earned it. I think she had a great first week. I think people really like her. I feel like she's in with a lot of people, but not everybody, which is not a bad thing. Um, and yeah, I don't think even if like it were to come out that her and Kellen or her and Zoe know each other, like the line was like, "Oh my gosh, I just heard Zoe and Kellen know each other through a mutual friend that played before." And it's like, okay, that could be said about like pretty much any two people.
A lot of people.
Yeah. Um, so I'm giving her a seven. And we'll see how it goes for Kellen.
Yeah. Zoe just has to cool it on like the I'm heading to Boston to visit her. Like, you need to stop saying that, Zoe. Anyway,
Okay, moving on to Mohammed.
I'm literally so mad that he's gone. I am so mad that he is gone. Was he like good at the game? No, bad at the game. No shade, Mohammed, but like, wow, there was absolutely no reason for the crash out. Um, Unfortunately, staying this week should have been the easiest task on the face of the planet. And I think even in his campaign, it was just like a little hair too awkward of being like, I crashed out, but I'm just really loyal and like I won't do it to you. And it's like, Muhammad, no, we should be saying like I won't do it again. Like, like I won't ever do it again. And I didn't mean it. I was just joking around. Ah ha ha. But look, for real, I think he also could have like played on the heartstrings and like the pathos or ethos or whatever the one is that's relating to emotion. a little more of being like, I really want to play here, just have fun, make friends. And this human being named Emma hasn't talked to you at all. Please, I promise, like I'll be so good. I will sit out of the HOH. I'll like I just want one more chance over this person that literally clearly doesn't give a shit. And people, I mean, like it turned a few votes in the very end. He got 4 votes to stay, and it should have been at least 6, probably 7 with Kayla, Jen, and Rachel had they like stuck to their guts. Um, so yeah. Is he in this position because of his own actions? Absolutely. Do I refuse to give him the same score as the person who literally sat here and did nothing? Absolutely. And he was close to saying. So for me, it will only be a 2 for Mohammed. I certainly cannot give him a 3 because that is too good of a score for the shit that he pulled. But, at the end of the day, he was close to staying. He did turn it around, and it just was a little too late. And we just shouldn't have come in under the assumption that, like, well, obviously there was a majority alliance. Obviously, there was not
But
a,
ironically, that those were the people that were
yeah,
uh, pushing
literally.
for him to go.
So it's going to be a 2 for me for Muhammad.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a 2 as well. Um, yeah, I really liked having him this season. I'm glad he was here and like put in effort and wanted to stay. And he was just being silly, like he was just being goofy.
Silly
But
Goofy, you just wanted to have fun.
and
Girls just want to have fun.
everyone is this season is like, no, we're having a joyless Big Brother SS season. We are not having fun this time. Strictly business. And Muhammad didn't fit that agenda because he was too fun and too crazy. And he will be missed.
Yeah. Ugh, I'm so mad that he's gone and we still have Emma here.
Realistically, I wonder if he were to stay, if he would have been able to like reintegrate. He probably would have been nominated this week.
Reintegrate? I don't know. Not be the next boot? I think quite possibly. You know what I mean? Like I think I could have seen a path for him, which sucks.
Now there's no path but the one home. Rachel.
Rachel. Okay. I came into the draft and I talked a really big game about Rachel, about how great she is. She just wins, and that's awesome. I'm still waiting to see that full Rachel Lefko come out. Um, However, here's the good things that I'll say. One, she is great about just initiating good convo with people. She has been the only person that's pushed to get on FaceTime with people. And I think just like calling with people and like talking about life and like turning it into the game will naturally make people feel a little bit better about you, like you are closer. And I think people have felt that way about Rachel, which is good. Um, Two, she does have good game sense, clearly, in the sense of just like she was one of the other people that was like, y'all, like, are we seriously gonna like is she was the first one to be like, is Mohammed even being that chaotic? I really have yet to see it. It was one nomination speech. She was the one to go to Mohammed first and be like, Mohammed, like, you should very easily be able to stay. Just like play on the fact that she's inactive, calm yourself down. This game is going to be fine. All these things. Like she has good game sense. Um, for me, where she's lacking a little bit is I think that Rachel is one of the people, and I've seen people in the past fall into a similar trope, where she's used to succeeding in games where she knows a lot of the people. And I think on this cast full of people that she doesn't know and also don't know each other, you do have to put in a little extra ounce of like effort to really get in good with people and like allow those social bonds to flourish that I don't think she's fully realized needs to happen. Her and Isaiah have had chats of like, I'm not being brought into any alliances. And it's like, okay, so try and make them and talk to people more. And it's just like a lot of like personal talk. She has good inward game sense, but it's not translating into outward game sense in terms of like getting in a group. No one has talked about her in a negative sense. She was not a consideration for nominations. I think a lot of people like her. Um, but it's kind of a very middling factor because she's another one kind of like Isaiah, where her name has not come up once in terms of like, here's a good name to potentially bring into a group. And because that is a very middling sense, I'm going to be giving her a very middling score, and I'm going to be at a 5 for Rachel this week.
I think I think I'm gonna be at a 4 this week for
I
Rachel.
knew you would do this.
Sorry.
Boo.
I was gonna be at a 5, but it was Scott's first overall pick, and I'm really salty right now. So no, I don't think Rachel has made as many connections as I think a higher score warrants this week. Um, I think one notable connection I saw was with Ryan. I know they were playing Pokemon, so good for them. But what did you say?
I said awesome. Good for them.
Yeah. Um, I am a little salty that she didn't stick with her vote. I think more so than Jen and Kayla. I think I, for as much as she was talking about wanting Mohammed to stay, I feel like she could have just given it to him. Um, Especially because she, like, imagine if Jen and Kayla flipped and she was the one. Like, that would have made me so mad.
Yeah, absolutely that. The only thing that I do have to combat that is like Rachel, at least the whole time, was going around to be like, are we sure we're not doing this? Okay,
Yeah.
the votes really aren't there. Are you sure? Like she was pushing the whole time and then was like, I don't want to do this, but like this is where they are. Versus Jen and Kayla were like, we
Hmm.
can't do this. And it's
I
like, no,
think,
you
yeah.
can.
It's also a little bit, I think she had a little bit of a slower start on day
Yes,
one.
absolutely.
And this is still part of week one and it's factoring into my score a little bit. But that's not to say that I'm like, oh, she's got downward trajectory here and she's fucked. Um, I think just for now, that's a 4 for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not unwarranted. Not unwarranted. Uh-huh.
What?
I was making a four pun with unwarranted, unwarranted. Get it? You can laugh. Ryan.
Woo!
Um,
Warranted. I got it.
Ryan, I give a little clap to. I am just as much as with Kellen, if not now more, like really impressed with Ryan. If anything, for me, it was like days 1 and 2. I was like Team Kellen for the win. She's killing it. She's in the best spot. Wow, she is manipulating Bryce and Justin to like bring in her allies, and she's keeping it secret, and it's awesome. And now, days 3 and 4, I'm kind of like, ooh, Ryan got brought into this group, but Ryan is keeping his options open. And Ryan is actually, in my opinion, the one person that is like equally close with the Bryce, Justin, Kellen, Zoe side, just as much as he is with like the Adrians and Kayla's and Jen's and Andrews and Vince's of the world, where it's like he's really set himself up well. I think if this like group of people were to form on the other side of the house, Ryan is a very likely person to be in it. And I think that he will then become one of the person that is getting like all of the info in the house and be able to decide what to do, alongside having a ride or die person like Kellen, who no one has clocked him with, like no one's tied them together other than like the do the Boston people know each other. Um, I think he's got good game sense. He won the veto and was able to like really solidify a bond with Bryce this week. Um, all in all, I'm just like very excited to see what he does. And in my opinion, he is definitely the one that is in the best position in the game right now. And is why for Ryan, I will be giving him my 7 this week. So for me, Ryan gets the 7 that I would have loved to give Kellen. And I'm still rooting for Kellen to win because that's my girl. But I am equally as thrilled and excited to watch Ryan this season. Um, so Ryan gets a 7 for me.
I think I'm gonna give Ryan a 6 this week, and it's not to be contrarian. I promise. I do agree that I think Ryan could be sitting pretty soon with having lots of information and being included in other alliances. I do like this is nothing against the way he's connected with people because I think he's done a very great job with that. I personally think Ryan's biggest obstacle is going to be himself. And I
Mm.
think he's gonna have to hold it together. I think he's like literally one bad thing away happening from like quitting the game. Um,
Oh
but like
no.
maybe not to that extent. I think he'd always joke about that, but he's like, I'm just gonna play until like I get evicted. Like maybe I'll do something and like get myself evicted. Like, okay, maybe take a breath. It's gonna be okay. He's like, yeah, I'm just like super paranoid right now and everything. I mean, you were there. He basically just said that too. Um, or maybe you weren't. Maybe that was last night. I was on the phone with Kellen and Ryan last night too. Um, I think he's just gonna have to hold it together. And it is a little scary that it is day 4 right now. Actually, this happened on day 3, and there are 32 days to this game. The good news is that I'm going back home, or I'm going back to Boston tomorrow to live with Ryan. And so I can be like, no, it's okay. It's okay. And I do see him pretty often. So,
I would hope so if you live with him.
well, we're busy people, you know? Um, so great veto win, great talking to people, great connecting. I mean, when we were on the phone with him just now, he was like, I think I'm gonna be nominated. And I'm like, what are you
You're
talking
in the main alliance with the next HOH.
Did you did you see Jen? Was it Jen sent that clip today? And it was Christy from BB21 being like, I'm going up. I know I'm going.
I
Um,
didn't see that actually.
I love that clip so much. And Jess is like, what? I'm gonna look for it. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking with Ryan. Wait,
Interesting.
what is it? Is it again? Oh my god, I love it. I'm going up. I'm going up. I'm going. And
It
she
is.
wasn't going up at all.
Um.
That's
Oh,
how I feel Ryan is
yeah.
reacting to everything.
Okay. T.
But I
I just
think
haven't seen that as much, but
I
that's yeah,
think
that's a
as
great point.
long as Kellen is here, they will be fine. He will be fine. Because he and Kellen yesterday were like, we can't turn on each other because I think I would like lose sight of reality if we like betrayed each other. And Kellen like very much agreed. Um, so I'm gonna
Oh,
listen
I
to him.
love them too. I love them
But
too.
I'm hoping for stronger things. I hope as the season progresses, he's not like getting more paranoid and he's more like gaining confidence in the game that he's playing. And it's like it gets better,
Mm.
not like worse. I do have confidence in him. So we'll see.
Alrighty. I forgot there's no graph. So now I can move forward and talk about Trista. Trista is another one that is just adding to our list of icons, divas, legends. I love Trista, but for all of the opposite reasons that I love Kellen and these people that I'm like, oh, you're killing it. Trista, like, here's what I appreciate about Trista over someone like, let's say, I don't know, just spitballing, Emma. Um, is Trista like actively strategizing? No, not at all. I don't think she's like fully grasping. She like Trista is honestly like a very like kind of like Steven said this before and I disagreed, but like I do kind of agree in the sense that she's very much like a Lara in the sense that Trista, she's here to play the competitions, and that's awesome. And whatever else comes will come. And she's like Trista is sending in diary rooms of like, I'm gonna win the veto. And then after the veto is like, I did not win the veto. And it's like, thanks, Trista, for that insight. And like I'm obsessed with it. My favorite diary room in a very long time that has come in.
Have it
Uh
up.
yes, I figured you would have it up and ready. Justin is talking to Trista and is like seeing how the game is going, and Trista is like, "Oh, like I'm having fun," and Justin says,
Oh, I didn't realize I was reading it. He said, Trista is killing me, girl. What about this has been fun for you so far? You got the worst score and then you're on the block.
"Yeah, she's gotten last place in her HOH round. Um, last place in the veto of the people that were competing. Oh no, that's not true. She got like second or third or fourth. I don't know. Got last place in this next HOH competition. Again, next to Emma, who just didn't show up. And like people will be talking to her and they're like, Trista, like such a good diary room. Um, People will be like, Trista, like, you're on the block. Like, how are you feeling? And she's like, I am on the block. And it's like, okay, but like, what's like your campaign to say? And she's like, I think I have the votes. And it's like, Trista, yeah, we're gonna need a little more. Um, I do kind of see her being a perpetual block star, and that I don't mind. Like, I would love to see Trista stick around because I'll keep getting diarrhea, and she is talking to people. Like when people text her, she will respond. It is very much like that thing of Laura. Like when people text her, like she will respond. She won't actively text anyone ever, I don't think. Um, but like, I don't know. I'm just like I'm having fun with Trista here. And maybe I'll feel differently. Like once we so I definitely have a gut feeling that I would get nominated for this. Bryce's reason was low key stupid, but I get it. Like, no, it wasn't stupid. All I have to do is go and win the veto, and I do not plan on losing. Unfortunately, the queen did not win the veto. Like, but that's okay. Uh, so
It was
like I
just
just
so
love Trista.
it was just so funny. Like Bryce was actively throwing the boss battle to her, and
Oh
she
my
could not
gosh.
get it. Like I
I
just
just
know she's just gonna be like so unintentionally funny this season. Like she's not even trying, and she's so funny.
I'm such a big Trista fan. I hope she does not go anywhere anytime soon. I hope Emma goes and Trista stays. With that said, I do think that Trista will be a perpetual block star until it is her time to go. Um, so for that reason, I do feel as though I have to give her a 3. I can't quite give her the 4 that I have Adrian and Helena. I do think she is in a worse position than the two of them. So I'm gonna give Trista a 3.
It's just
But
a thing of like, why do we need Emma here if we have Trista here?
exactly.
You know, so we have one of the spots in the block already. We don't need two. So it's gonna be a 3 for me as well. But I really love Trista. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of what what will need to happen in order for Trista to get better footing. And I think she just needs to like Laura Menendez her way into an HOH somehow. Um,
Oh, that would be so iconic. Okay, this is gonna kill me. What's coming on? I didn't turn them on in the first place. Like I swear if they don't turn off.
maybe someone else is turning them on.
Emma. She's here. Emma. She's back.
She's not gone, to be clear. She's still in the house.
They're going crazy. What's going on?
You have a ghost in your.
I want them off. Why is it going crazy? I don't like it. Purple. Okay. Gonna say
What's
purple. No, no, no. What's happening? Okay. This is really distracting. Um,
someone doing it from like the next room?
no. Okay, 3. Okay, that's a 3 for me. Give your thoughts on it.
Um, I think Vince's initial comment, or not comment, initial reaction from me, like in the first few days, was Kellen being like he's talking too much, and then that kind of spread a little bit around. I think Bryce kind of spread that on around a lot, but I don't think anyone was like, I disagree, and fuck you, Kellen. Like everyone was kind of like, yeah, I actually see that too, and I'm kind of wary of Vince. Um,
No, if anything, Kellen single-handedly tanked Vince's game with one sentence. Power.
deserved.
Yeah, I'll say it. No, Vince seems lovely. But with that said, um, well, actually, no. Like it is deserved in the sense of like I do think honestly I came in on day 1 and I was like, wow, super impressed with Vince. Is giving me actually very active, very socially good. It's gonna be great this season. And then immediately I see Vince as someone that is like a little too paranoid for his own good. doesn't want his name tied to anything, is kind of like doing the most, but wants to be caught doing nothing. And I think everyone has caught on to this immediately. Like, I think that like most people don't trust Vince is like the thing that has like resulted after like 4 days of this. And part of that is definitely because Kellen had the read of like sketchatondra over there. Um, and the worst part about it is like for Vince, again, I think keeping Muhammad would have been great because Muhammad came to him and was like, Vince, I trust you. Please keep me. And Vince was like, no, 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 I can't do that because Muhammad is a mess and Bryce is my everything. And yeah, and I'm like, Vince, that's crazy. Bryce is not even actively prioritizing you at all anymore. Um, and like Vince was one of the major people, in my opinion, to flip back people like Andrew and Adrian and these people that like would have been in the middle to make better moves. Like I just think that Vince is like a jaded view of this game right now in the sense of like he is far. I think Vince. This is gonna sound like a read. I don't think this is a read because Vince truly is lovely, but I think Vince thinks that like they're like really at the center of the game,
Agreed.
and that's just like not the case at all. And I pull up all the clips of me saying in the past, it is better to be playing from the bottom and know that you're on the bottom than think you're playing from the top and be in like a middle position. And I think Vince has no idea the actual layout of this game and is probably one of the people that has the least idea about the actual layout of this game. Um, I came out on day one and I was like, I'm gonna give him a 6. And then on day two, I was like, no, he deserves a 5. And now I'm like, does he deserve a 4? Like, are people that sketched by him?
I think so.
Loki, I think so too. So I'm gonna, yeah, like I'm gonna give him a 4 for me.
He was so gung ho on Muhammad leaving this week, and he was also like, if Muhammad comes off the block with the boss battle, we should vote out Trista so that when Emma gets pulled from the game, that'll be like two people going home. And I was
And
like, no, no,
I had to
no,
go into multiple conversation. I was like, just to let you know, like the exact thing that you're saying is why we don't pull people.
no, no, no. You can't play off production. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Emma will only be pulled if she's ever not on the block and we literally are not getting votes from her. But newsflash, Emma will always be on the block until
Don't even say that. Don't say that. Um, I was thinking of giving him a 3.
damn, I won't lie, that's like crazy harsh to me. But of course it's your score.
I think I'll stay with a 4 for now. I do think people are like, Vince is sketchy. Vince is talking to everybody. Like, I do see that a lot. And I think him having such a vocal opinion about the vote didn't help. But, like, I guess he got what he wanted this week. And I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But I'll stick with 4. Zoe, our last house guest.
Our last house guest. For me, I mean, if you look at the people that have gotten the green scores so far, it really should not be a shock that Zoe will be rounding out this green scores bunch for me. Zoe's been a very active player, which I think is great. And I think a lot of people really like and trust Zoe, which is awesome. I don't know exactly how and when it happened because I won't lie. Like, I kind of went on like day one, it was like Zoe's name was not someone that people were tossing out as like, oh, I really like and trust Zoe. And there was never a point where all of a sudden it was, but there was a point where all of a sudden Zoe was just like included in everything and like the person that people go to. And I'm like, when did this happen? Like good for Zoe, but like when did we get here? Um she's set up very well. She's set up very well. I think people on all sides like her. She's in this majority group of 5, which is definitely the strongest power structure of the game right now. Um she was a little too tunnel vision on Muhammad going for my liking. Like Kellen and Ryan were both like at the very least willing to like talk about something else happening. Um, and Kellen ended up voting the other way. Um, Zoe, I think, was like nose down to the ground. No, this is the group, this is the alliance, and I think she is much more locked in with Bryce and Justin than Kellen and Ryan are. Um, with that said, she had a lot of people going on the other side of the house, like going to her as like a possible swing vote. So like people, I think people do see her someone that's in the middle, which is only going to benefit Zoe. Um, I am for Zoe, I'm very confidently not at a seven. I never considered going up to a seven for Zoe because I do think she is a little just a hair too messy in terms of like telling a lot of people a lot of different things. And I do see a world where things could catch up with her. Um, even little things about how she's feeling about the vote in terms of, and all the way to big things to like letting people know that you're going to go visit Kellen in Boston next week. Like, let's maybe not do all that. Um, all to say though, she's in a good spot. She's well liked. People are talking game with her. These are all good things. So I will be sitting solidly at a six alongside, um, kind of like where I have Bryce and Justin for me. So yeah, it's a six from me for Zoe.
I am deciding between a 5 and a 6 for pretty much all the reasons you laid out of being like a little too messy for like I'm like a little worried now for how this will go. I think she's kind of like an exposed position a little bit for her and Kellen. Um, I mean, she's in the big alliance. She's pretty well insulated. I don't think anyone's like. I guess I'll give her the 6 for this week. I think I'll stay with that. I am a little like it is making me a little nervous. What like the way she's displayed herself, and like she has been kind of talking around to a lot of different people. I will say I think one of the reasons the vote stayed in her favor this week was because she was very locked in on what she wanted to do. Um, Ryan was wavering a little bit. Kellen did change her vote. I think Zoe was like, "No, I'm doubling down. I'm sticking with it." So good for her. I'll give her the 6.
And that's our week one. We've
A lot.
got Kellen and Ryan at the top of the game, with a 6.5 average. Take hey, season 18, anyone watching this,
Yeah,
take of the one, two, three, four, five, six people that got a green score from us.
yeah.
Um, just take note of that. It didn't happen for your season. No, it didn't.
One person,
It
two.
was at max one each week for the first like 10 weeks of the game.
Abdul was the first one, right?
Uh, yeah, Abdul was the first one in week one.
I wonder if it's because he was alphabetically first. And I think as we went farther down the line, we were like, wow, these people suck.
Um, well, no, and even no, and to be clear, even then, I think it was like Abdul got a six from you and a five from me. Like his score is a 5.5.
Someone had a green score. Someone
I
had
think it
like
was Zion.
Zion.
Zion had a six from me, and I think it was six from you.
Okay, well, that's that.
All to say, um, yeah, they're at the top. And rounding out the next tier kind of makes sense is Bryce, Justin, and Zoe. The five of them are in the power position right now. I don't get the sense though that they are going to be a five that stay true to this five the whole game. So I'll be curious to see how long they ride it out for. I think we'll definitely be with them for a moment, but I'm not necessarily concerned right now that like, wow, this is going to be a steamroll of a season for them.
Yeah.
Um, down on the other end, on the bottom, we have, of course, our block stars in Emma, Mohammed, and Trista for the week. Mohammed, of course, being evicted. Right below that, people to watch out for Helene and Vince. Yeah, I don't think that that's incorrect. Followed by, yeah, Adrian, Rachel, and I'd honestly throw Isaiah in there as well. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the season goes. I hope we're here talking about Emma's eviction next week, and then the season can really begin. And it should have been beginning right now.
Whatever. Okay. All right.
That's all. We'll talk to everyone next week for week two.